Hello everyone, it's been a hot minute, or as in the last deck profiles I did on this channel were around the time of the last ban list, and one of the decks I showed was Pearly. The deck got hit on the ban list, and I haven't really been feeling great about Yu-Gi-Oh ever since, because after you invest in a deck that's quite expensive and it gets hit on the ban list, it does kind of dampen your spirits a little bit. But all of that aside, I always come back if there's an old fan favourite deck to review and to see if, I'll be able to do something in the future. And here we have Volcanic, a deck that has been one of the most fan-supported decks of all time. Like, this deck has been crying out for support for so long, and the fans of this deck know it. There's a very prevalent player in the community that's been advocating for Volcanics to get support for years now, and it just so happens that in the most recent set they have got support, and I'll be talking about this deck profile I've made. It's very casual, very pure Volcanic deck, what it can expect in the future, and another couple of things. And I'm going to try not to trip over my words, and I'm going to just try and talk about the cards in detail, as I always do. So we'll be playing two copies of the new Volcanic Emperor. This card is fantastic. So it can't be normal summoned a set and has to be special summoned from hand or grave by banishing either 3 pyro monsters or a Blaze Accelerator card from your field or grave. And basically, you can only special summon a Volcanic Emperor once per turn. And if it's summoned this way, you can inflict 500 damage to your opponent for each of your banished pyros. Then you can set any Volcanic trap from your deck directly. Also happens that whenever your opponent special summons a monster, you can burn them for 500 damage, or it will burn them for 500 damage. And I do not believe that's an activated effect. So, get these two boys out on the field. Your opponent's paying 1,000 life points every time they special summon a monster, which is fantastic. It's got 3,100 attack too, which is awesome. Now, I've got 3 of the new Volcanic Trooper. It's your searcher. Basically, if it's normal or special, you can add any Volcanic card from your deck to your hand you want. And once per turn, you can discard a card for cost and special summon a bomb token to your opponent's field. And if that's if a bomb token is destroyed, basically that card's controller takes 500 damage. So you give them a bomb token, destroy it, they burn for 500. Pretty solid stuff. Next, we're going to talk about Volcanic Rimfire, their new level 1. Incredible card. So it has 2 different effects when it's sent to the graveyard. So if it's sent to the graveyard, you can either banish it from the graveyard to send a Volcanic monster from your deck to the graveyard, except Rimfire. Normally you'll either be sending a shell or a Emperor to the graveyard, or you can banish a Blaze Accelerator card from your face-up field or graveyard to place any Blaze Accelerator continuous spell or trap from your hand or deck face up to your field. So this can get your Blaze Accelerator reload out, it can get a dead Blaze Accelerator, anything like that it can place on the field. Now on to some classic monsters. 3 copies of Rocket. So when Volcanic Rocket is summoned in any way, be it normal or special, can miss timing, just keep that in mind. You can add any Blaze Accelerator card from your deck or graveyard to your hand. So it has a lot of recursion. You can add back your spent Blaze Accelerator in case you need to activate another of the new Volcanic Blaze Accelerator, which is really good. Going classic, 3 copies of Shell. Shell is a really good discard fodder because it's a soft once per turn. You can pay 500 life points if it's in your graveyard to add another Volcanic Shell from your deck to your hand. This pairs really good with the Heater, the Fire Channeler, which we'll be talking about in a little bit. And it's just a good card to have. It's a Volcanic classic card. You can't be playing Volcanics if you're not playing Shell. Shell is awesome. Load them guns up, pew pew, etc. You know how it be. Free Scattershot. This is your nuke option. So if it's sent off of the effect of a Blaze Accelerator card, you can send 2 Scattershots from your hand or deck to the graveyard to blow up all of your opponent's monsters. And if it's sent to the graveyard, you can inflict 500 damage to your opponent. So these 3 together, sending them all, will mean you're burning for 1500, blowing up your opponent's field. Classic combination. Very good. 3 copies of Heater, the Fire Channeler. So you can pitch her and another fire monster from your hand to search any fire monster from your deck that has higher attack than the other discarded monster. So if you're discarding like Rimfire or Shell, you're getting monsters with any attack value higher than 300 or 100, which is most of your deck. You can be adding Trooper, Emperor, Scattershot, you name it, basically. Really good. It can also summon itself from the hand if one of your fire monsters is destroyed by battle, so that's another little extra bonus. You can get an extra body onto your field. I've got 3 copies of Fire Ejection. Long story short, it's a foolish burial for pyro monsters, and it has a couple of additional effects if you send a volcanic. So you can either inflict damage to your opponent equal to its level times 100, or you can special summon a bomb token which carries the same properties as your regular bomb tokens. If they're blown up, the opponent takes 500 damage. Basically, that's how it is. Now for 3 copies of Volcanic Blaze Accelerator and 1 brick, which is the normal Blaze Accelerator. You have to play a copy or 2 of Blaze Accelerator in your deck in order to play Volcanic Blaze Accelerator, because you can only activate it by sending a Blaze Accelerator from your hand, deck, or field to the graveyard. And essentially what it does while it's on the field is you can special summon a volcanic from your hand, and then once per turn you can target a face-up monster your opponent controls, send any level 1 pyro from your deck to the graveyard to destroy that monster. So this combos really well with Trooper. So you summon Trooper, you search the Volcanic Blaze Accelerator, you use the Trooper to summon a bomb token to your opponent's field. Then you can activate the Volcanic Blaze Accelerator, and then either special summon a Pyro from hand, a Volcanic from hand, and you can also dump like Rimfire to the graveyard to destroy the bomb token that you give your opponent with Trooper, and essentially get that Rimfire into the graveyard, get the Emperor into the graveyard, and make your plays like that. 3 copies of goods. Blaze Accelerator Reload is a card, and it's really good. We'll be talking about that just now. So 2 copies of Blaze Accelerator Reload. So it becomes TriBlaze Accelerator while in the Spell and Trap zone. So if you choose to play Volcanic Doomfire and you want to special summon it, you can by basically tributing this off. During the main phase, you can send a Volcanic card from your hand to the graveyard to draw a card, and you can also banish it from the graveyard to send any Volcanic card from your deck to the graveyard. So if you can get this in the graveyard, you can banish it to send like Scattershot, blow your opponent's field clean open. But with this face up on the field, if you have it's easier to get this face up on the field now, because if you have a Scattershot in your hand and you can't get it out, you can still trigger the Scattershot even if it's in your hand with this, which is really good. Not to mention you've got more searchability with Volcanic Emission and Trooper and things like that. I'm playing 1 copy of Volcanic Emission. So basically you can activate one of these effects, and you can only use each of them once per turn. You can take a volcanic monster from your deck and either add it to your hand or special summon it, ignoring its summon conditions. So you can summon Volcanic Emperor straight out of the deck with this. Or you can target any pyro monster in the field and inflict damage to your opponent equal to that monster's original attack. But if you target a monster you control, that damage is halved. So the idea with Emission is if you side in Queen for going second, you can give your opponent a Queen, let it do its burn damage, burn your opponent for as much as possible, and then you can set Emission off of Emperor and really put your opponent on a low amount of life points, because you can burn them for like 2,500 because they've got a Queen on the field, which is really good. 1 copy of Inferno. This is like your negation trap. So you can also set this off of Volcanic Emperor. So when your opponent activates a monster effect on the field, you can banish a Pyro from your graveyard, burn your opponent for 500. Then if you banished a Volcanic monster, to activate it, you can negate the effect. So it's basically a non-field monster effect negation, which is really good. And during your opponent's end phase, you can target up to 2 of your Volcanic monsters that are banished and or in your graveyard, and place them on the bottom of the deck in any order. So this helps get you back your shells, your scatter shots, things like that, which again is really good. If you're playing want to play a more control-y centric variant of this deck, You can bump either one of these up to 3, but I would probably put Emission up to 3 over Inferno, just because Inferno is continuous and it's going to be staying on the field unless your opponent has a way to remove it. For Nonengine, we've got 3 Ash and 3 Barrier. These can be any combination of 6 cards. If you're feeling like this deck isn't running enough non-engine, like hand traps and things, you could probably replace the shells for more gas if you really want to, if you want to try and make this deck as casually / locals viable as you want. That might be a way to go about it. It's up to you. As for the extra deck, you could run an extravagance package if you really want, but I've just given a slew of monsters that are going to be quite useful with the levels of the monsters involved. So Ensemble Robin is a rank 1, which can bounce your opponent's special summon monsters back. So you could overlay shells or rimfires into this and go into it. For other Xyz monsters, we've got Princess Sprite, again, another rank 1, sorry, which is really good, as well as the Recital Starling. So you could side in DD Crow, be able to search it with this. And then everything else is just basically standard extra deck good stuff. You can really play whatever you want. You've got Phoenix, Avramax. I'd say like Almirage and Linkuriboh are probably the only mandatory extra deck monsters for you to run, because sometimes you just have to like normal summon a Rimfire and then link it off in order to do anything, or a shell, and that just kind of sucks. So I'd say these are like mandatory, along with maybe Heater Ablaze, because you can steal your opponent's fire monsters with it, and it's a semi-generic link monster to use. We've got IP Masquerena, Unicorn, Cerberus. We play the Phoenix as well. 1 Donna and a Zeus in case of the rank 1 plays. So basically just play any amount of extra deck good stuff you can, and you'll probably be in a really good position. Anyway guys, that's been my Volcanic deck profile. Again, very casual, nothing to take too seriously. This new support is really cool, and it's what people have been waiting for ages. We're getting a Pyro Searcher at some point in the future, Bonfire, which is really good. And in the next set, I believe, we're going to get a card called Fire Recovery, which lets you summon Pyros from the graveyard and fire monsters. So that'll be quite a nice card to have. And do I see Volcanic doing anything major moving down the line? Probably not, honestly. It's very casual. Probably more of a going second deck than a going first deck, but you can set up some really cool burn combos and put your opponent on a bit of a back foot to begin with. But anyway guys, I hope you like this impromptu deck profile. If you can, leave me a like. I'd really appreciate it, even due to the infrequency of the videos being uploaded. But thank you very much, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.